Happy New Year, everybody. This is John O'Halloran, your host of the Chalk Dinosaur podcast. This is episode 11, and today I had a conversation with a guy named Michael Berger. Who is Michael Berger? Well, if you're listening to the podcast, chances are you probably already know who he is, but for those of you who don't, he plays the bass in a band called The Clock Reads, which is a Pittsburgh band. I would describe their music as, there's a heavy jazz influence in their music. There's a lot of funk and jam too, so it's a fusion of jazz, improvisational jam, funk, and Latin music, which is a really interesting mix, and they do it really well. And they've just released a new album on January 1st, and it's called Gnomon. Right now, Gnomon is available on the Clock Reads Bandcamp page, which is theclockreads.bandcamp.com. And it's also available if you want to get it direct from the source. It's available on the Clock Reads website, which is theclockreads.band. Just search for it on Google and you'll find all their social media and all that crap. But yeah, Michael, we collaborated on a song. The first time I actually met him was when he came over for a recording session in 2016. After I'd seen the Clock Reads for the first time at Farm Jam, I was exposed to a lot of musicians that I had no prior knowledge of, and that were really good and were playing music that I really liked, and that was in line with the kind of stuff that I was enjoying at the time and currently. And Michael Berger, the bass playing, I don't know, that really stood out to me, and so I got in touch with him and asked him if he would want to come over and do a collaboration for this album, Chalk Dinosaur and Friends. And without hesitation, he was down, and we made the song The Chalk Reads off of that album. We arranged that and wrote it in one session, and it was one of those times where just came together really quickly and naturally, and that was cool because we were starting basically from scratch. I pulled out a Jules Powell drum track from another song off that Chalk Dinosaur and Friends album, and we just jammed over that for a little bit, and then found the main theme, and then went on to write some other sections. It's one of those I don't even know how it happened, but it came together really well, and it's a song that I'm really proud of. And so that was my introduction to Michael Berger and the Clock Reads, Farm Jam Alama, and then that collaboration. And then ever since then, I've been playing with the Clock Reads probably like once a year. We do a show where we combine, it's the Clock Reads, and then I play with him. And then we play different music than what we would normally play. And that's always interesting because our backgrounds and our bread and butter, I feel like, are different things. So the result is something much different than what either of us would probably play normally, and we're also just very, very fun guys to hang out with. And so that was on December 4th. Yeah, that was good. And then I DJ'd in between sets at their Clock Reads New Year's show with Afro and At, who I just saw for the first time. That was really fun. I was pumped they busted out some Hey Arnold. I've always thought about that being an awesome song to play. And then Shaq Nicholson, which hopefully we'll get some of those guys on here real soon to talk about themselves. But yeah, new album. They released it on the night of that show, and interesting timing because they released a new album, but that was also their last show for, indefinitely. Because I think the guitar players, they're going on an extended trip to Thailand, which sounds like an epic kind of life-altering, perspective-shifting kind of trip, like a vision quest. But that sounds cool. Think about doing that from time to time. But they have this fresh new album that they've really crafted a very distinct sound with this album, and really kind of honed in on their sound, which was cool to hear. And so we talked to Michael today about that and kind of just music in general. And if you haven't listened to the new album, check it out. Chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a good chance you probably already have. But I always find it interesting to hear bands and artists kind of talk about their music and the kind of stuff that you just don't really get when you just listen to the album. Like, just to hear someone talk about how they do music and stuff is interesting to me. So that's what I'm banking on, that somebody else might be interested in that too. But okay, without further ado, here's my conversation with Michael Berger. It's going to pick up kind of in the middle because I kind of just turned the recorder on as we were getting comfortable. Michael Berger, The Clock Reads. I don't know. I don't think I'd go back to Bonnaroo unless I was like VIP RV.
Yeah, I've never been there. I never wanted to go.
After going to the small ones, it would be...
Big festivals suck.
Yeah.
They really do.
There's all these things that... There's just so much more security and lines and the logistics of everything is just a lot harder.
Yeah.
Like getting in, getting anywhere. Bonnaroo is, it's cool to see that big of a gathering, and there's definitely like cool pockets of stuff. But after I went to All Good, which was still pretty big compared to like what I've been going to, but it was way smaller, and I was like, I'm never going back there. Never going back to Bonnaroo. But, if I was able to have like a VIP thing or like got to play there or something, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like, plus it's so far away.
Yeah.
It's so far away, and so the drive's really long, and it's so hot there.
Yeah.
That it's like it's just like...
Why put yourself through that?
Yeah, it's like a trial. Or like it's like some kind of like challenge. Mm-hmm. Where we at here? You don't have to be too close. Yeah.
I might swing it back and forth a little bit during.
Okay.
Like if I'll talk, I'll be like, I'll bring it in. Then once you're talk.
Get the stick out of my face. Well, it's already started recording, so we can just continue where we started when you walked through the door, and I offered you a can of Bliss Citrus IPA from our sponsor, Oscar Blues.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you.
I will say it's a delicious beer. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I knew you were coming over today, and I was gonna get beer, and I was like, Berger, he's a high class, powerful businessman, and he might like this more than the Coors Light.
Yeah. Depending on the day or the night or the time
or the temperature
or the temp
for me. Anyway,
business net 30.
Yeah.
New project.
Yeah, you guys went full business attire. That was nice.
No, we did not.
Wait, you and Steve?
No.
Wait, were you wearing a jacket?
Year's?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I was wearing a little jacket. What was Steve wearing?
He had a full suit on.
No, that's other Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it depends which Steve we're talking about. But
Yeah,
the whole
I
Shaq
didn't-
group was dressed nicely,
Trying to,
as in somewhat business.
yeah. I was gonna go really wild and do the Hawaiian shirt with a jacket,
Ooh.
tucked in with a tie and a mustache, maybe some sunglasses and a wig, but chickened out. Just went with the shirt.
Hardy God bless.
Okay, so I guess we better address the people listening that maybe want to know what's going on here. Michael Berger, bass player for the Clock Reads, wanted to talk to you about your new album that you just put out.
You mean this one?
Yes. Yeah, that looks like it. That nice sundial one.
Yeah, so here we have it. Gnomon, which is the part on the sundial that casts the shadow. Came up with the logo with Riley Mate of Pseudo Dudo, good friend of ours. And yeah, just did some brainstorming, some playing around on the computer.
Yeah, I like that half and half, day and night type of, or underground and overground, dark and light.
Yeah, I think that was a cool kind of aspect to it, day and night. You know, one full day, 24 hours. Fun fact, the album is 60 minutes on the dot.
Precise.
Precise.
That's a full sundial right there.
Yeah. And we were kind of thinking in terms of the track list of the order of the songs, of having it kind of be a cycle of a day.
Oh, I gotta look at these again though.
I mean, not necessarily in their titles, but in how they make you feel.
Interesting.
So,
oh
like,
man, definitely gonna have to listen to that again with that in mind.
Yeah, and you know, there were thoughts of like, do we start it at 12 midnight, or do we start it as, you know, the sun rising or waking up? And we went with the latter.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So, did you guys did you have this concept before you started writing, or did you kind of like start putting together all your music and then like kind of come up with this concept to kind of like combine everything and like shape everything?
It was kind of half and half. Maybe more so later on. We were like, oh, well, it actually could work like that. And it does have a flow. Whereas our last album, it was kind of just like songs we've been playing and like want to get them out. And like we were questioning the cohesiveness. I think it worked out okay. But this one, I think, is a little more cohesive and...
Yeah.
And it was cool. The recording process was like over a year. So we started tracking some songs, and I think in September of 18.
So that was before Inner Peaks came out, right?
No.
Or was that right
no,
after?
That's not right.
Wait, March 18? Is that when Inner Peaks came out? April 8? Like spring 2018?
Yeah.
Okay, so the following fall.
Yes. Which was this past fall? I guess so.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Fall of 19. No. No, it was fall of 18, because Inner Peaks was spring of 18.
Okay.
So fall of 18 is when I think we did like Comida del Alma.
Okay, so yeah, it's been about a year of tracking and attacking.
Yeah. There were like a couple songs that we did, and then we waited a while and did some more. And then like a few months after that, it had been 4 or 5 months since we'd been in the studio, and we had been playing out a lot. So a lot of our new songs that were very new at the time, which was really cool, being in the studio and kind of like fleshing out the songs while we're there.
Yeah, and just like recording it as it's being like conceived.
Yeah, that was a really, really cool experience.
That's cool. That's like, yeah, it's much different when you're able to capture something like that as it's happening. and like really right on the cusp of creativity.
Yeah. Especially, or like, there were a song or two where, none of us, only one person brought the song. Like, none of us we hadn't played it before.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And so we just kind of just like worked on it and like fleshed out the form. We all had like charts in front of us. So that was a cool experience.
Yeah.
But some time had passed. We had played a lot on the road, and we were just, the songs had maybe become more defined, and we had become better at playing them.
Yeah.
So we decided just to like retrack 3 or 4 of those songs.
Okay, yeah, like ones that you had kind of, nailed down more.
And we ended up just doing 1 or 2 takes of those.
Yeah.
Because we all felt really comfortable. Like, we had been playing these songs for a few months now.
It's definitely, that's one of the cool things about, when you perform songs, it kind of just really, like, makes you, get them down really well and get comfortable with them.
Yeah, and they, like, evolve, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I want to do the next full band album for Chalk Dinosaurs, kind of try that out, like get the songs down, because I think the last one was a lot of writing it as we're recording it kind of stuff. But a lot of songs will change as we play them live, and then probably like you guys were feeling like they improve.
Yeah, and it's kind of a predicament, because when you release an album, you like kind of want it to be new.
Yeah.
But, songs really take their true form when you play them live. So I guess it depends, like, what kind of fan base you have, and, like, how many people know your songs, and, like, does it even matter? Well, for a more popular band, I guess it matters.
It definitely makes the recording process a lot faster, I bet. Well, like you said, it only took you guys, like, a couple takes for the ones that you trialed and, like, worked on. But, yeah, I know what you mean.
But for saying, like, you have a new album of songs that you've been playing for the past year and a half that, like, everybody has heard. And it's like, oh, it's a new album, but, like, we've heard all these songs.
Yeah, but you have to think about, like, the only people who have heard them are people at shows. And a lot of people listen to music, that haven't been to a show, or, like, that don't... Yeah, I don't know. I feel that way sometimes whenever we play songs that we've played a lot. I feel like, oh man, everybody's heard this like a million times. But then I also remember, like a lot of people, my perspective of that is skewed because because I'm me, and like people that are playing it obviously are extremely familiar with it, and like...
Right. Yeah, it's probably some unnecessary pressure that artists put on themselves.
I think as long as you're not, like, hesitating too much with the recording and, like, hanging on to ideas for too long, where then you really just, like, kind of lose all of, like, the kind of inspired feeling you had. I don't know. Do you guys get that where, like, you come up with a new song idea or a new jam or something, and it's everybody's kind of favorite thing to play? And then you come up with something else, and, like, a couple months later, like, you don't really even want to play this other one because there's other ones that you want to play or something like that.
Definitely. That has totally happened, where it's like each new song becomes the favorite song.
Yeah, and then ones that you used to be real excited about, we'll play some of these ideas that we used to be super excited about, and then we'll be like, I'm not feeling it. Or, like, it's, just keep shifting.
Yeah. Got to find the balance.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's fun when you come back to them, after not playing them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? Yeah, Inner Peaks. I feel like that was cohesive to me. But it had a much different feel than the new one. Like, it was...
Yeah.
It was kind of more like, a lot more like dissonance and like tritones or something, like odd melodic stuff, and like more funkiness, I guess.
It's definitely more funky.
And then Yeah, and this one kind of Gnomon really hit some like deeper emotional feelings. I feel like whenever we were listening to it.
Yeah, so I feel like we have been cultivating this sound over the past 6 years, and it's kind of started out sounding like a lot of other, bands, jam bands, funk, psychedelic, high energy funk, or what have you. But within that, we still had our own kind of unique style in playing, and now after all this time, we've really just like dialed in who we are and like what we can produce as a collective group, and it's different. It just sounds different. And I think it's a fresher breath air for us because there's a lot of music going around that's just, you feel like it could be any band playing it.
Right.
But we feel like this is ours. Like we made this sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with this album. Definitely hit on all of your strengths. I feel like extra more directly with this one.
Yeah, also with this one, there was less collective writing. Most of it was someone wrote a song and shared the chart with everyone, and everyone, maybe you have some guidance for how you want the bass to sound or the drums to sound, but everyone kind of just like put their own part to someone's composition.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, which was cool, and you can, I can tell because I've been playing with these guys for so long, but like, on the songs, see if you're listening and you've seen us a bunch, like see if you can tell who wrote the song.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that, and I'll send you my guesses.
Yeah, I'll give you a scorecard afterwards.
Do I win a prize? Like, is there a prize for this?
Maybe. Actually, one song was collectively written. Well, I guess technically two on the album: the prologue and the epilogue, which were just improvisations in the studio. We were just thinking, let's have an ambient jam. We had a couple, but this one was like 7.5 minutes. And we really didn't even decide to use it until, a month or two out from like finalizing the album.
Yeah.
But our engineer, Michael Berger,
you've been working with him for a while.
Yeah, he was our lead engineer on Inner Peaks and mixed that album and mixed this one as well. And he mixed that one ambient jam, and we were like, oh, it sounds pretty good. Like, how can we use it? Like, maybe it would be cool to have like an opening and an ending, and we kind of just like found a good stopping point in the middle and split it up.
Yeah, I like that. It kind of intros and outros to albums kind of, I feel like that kind of helps kind of give it an identity a little bit. Not that that's like a defining sound at all of the album, because they're the only two tracks like that, but just that it kind of makes it more like story-esque.
Yeah.
Kind of like introducing the album as a whole. I saw that your brother mastered it too.
Yeah.
Does he master a lot, or is that something he's doing right now?
So he is an engineer at Sear Sound in Hell's Kitchen, New York City. It's a very well-known recording studio. Lots of big-time jazz and pop and.
Yeah.
They have
showed me some pictures. Looked pretty awesome.
Yeah, you go on the website and see who all they've recorded, but he, got that gig, and he is assistant engineer there, and he can use the, all the equipment there for as long as nothing's scheduled. Like, he can do whatever he wants there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I guess we're not supposed to say that it was done there, so whoever's listening,
Yes.
But, yeah, but we were, we'd rather have our album master on all this top of the line equipment and not be
Yeah.
able to say it, then
And in a room,
then
yeah.
not.
That's just like a room tuned for, listening.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to get, because like the room play a lot of tricks. You know
Yeah.
how different rooms sound when you play. Some of them just sound like shit,
Sure.
and then it's hard to play. That's cool.
Yeah, well, but it was really special to have, Justin helping us with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because he's my brother and I love him.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's always great to have something that you can look at later and be like, something that you both kind of contributed to.
Yeah, and we used to play in a band together. I mean, we still do play when we get the chance. But, we had been recording our stuff early days, like in our parents' garage, and, he had a whole setup there. So he's destined to be an audio engineer.
Yeah. What was the name of that we were listening to?
Yeah.
Your jams?
Delays.
Delays.
Delaise.
Delays.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where Delbergs comes from?
No.
Delberg. That's like your Instagram handle?
That comes just from the Italian that I want to have. I'm a quarter Greek, but like I wish I was. No, I'm glad I'm Greek. I just also wish I was Italian. So like I took Italian in high school, and in college I got a minor in Italian. I worked in an Italian restaurant back at home, like during college over the summers.
In Philly.
Yeah, San Nicola, Paoli, PA. Really good food. And I studied abroad in Italy, so like I might as well be Italian.
Wow, yeah, I thought you were.
A lot of people do, but then I'm like, no, I'm quarter Greek.
Yeah. Interesting. What is Delberg? What is that?
So del is like a preposition, like of the.
Of the Berg?
Yeah, of the Bergs.
Of the Bergs. Ah. That's like what your Italian name would be?
Yeah, I guess so.
Of the Bergs.
Of the Bergs. Like, I guess you could say, spaghetti of the spaghetti of the man. Be like, I spaghetti del uomo. Spaghetti of del uomo, man.
Yeah.
It's like, it is the man spaghetti.
Okay, yeah.
Spaghetti of the man.
I'm of the Berg.
I am of the Berg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Delberg. Okay, yeah. You know what he's working on? Anything, like, any stuff he's doing right now?
Justin?
Mm-hmm.
He actually collaborated with this woman, Becca Stevens.
I haven't heard of her.
She was recording at Sear Sound, and I think he was, playing something, and like, she asked him to just play with her. So he's on her album on that track.
Oh, nice.
I forget what track it is. I'm sorry, Justin. But Becca Stevens, you can hear it. Latest release.
He must meet so many people at that job.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Sting. He got Sting,
Oh, yeah?
like, he was like, I guess, picking some like food or drink up for him. I think he asked for ginger root. So my brother got Sting ginger root.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, just working there, you meet so many different people, like, and you can make so many different, connections or like potential like future projects just by.
Yeah, like sounds like what has just happened.
Yeah.
With him, like he's, contributing creatively.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And he recently got a like an old school Gibson acoustic, and he was just leaving it at the studio for, because he's there so much, like he'll play it when he's there, and if someone wants to use it, then they can use it.
That's pretty sweet. Let me see. So like, back to your songwriting stuff with the band. Was Inner Peaks, was that written in a, you said with Gnomon, someone would bring in some kind of arrangement and everyone, you know, create their own part based on this, you know, structure.
Mm-hmm.
Was Inner Peaks done the same way?
Not really, because Inner Peaks was like songs that we had already written and played for a while.
Yeah.
You know, like some of those songs.
And how did you write those, like initially? Like The Test or something. Was that one of those songs?
Yeah, The Test, I guess, was somewhat newer. Like,
oh man.
So something like Lemur Party.
Oh yeah.
Like we wrote that in 2015.
Okay. Or Marie, which is bonus. Wait.
No, that's Sweet Marie.
Sweet Marie, yeah.
Sweet Marie is unreleased. It got cut. Every album, we were talking about this, every album has a song that didn't make it. Our first EP, a song called Light Bulb, we were just like, fuck this song.
Because did it bug you? Like, what makes you cut a song? Like, you just feel like it's not as good as the rest of them or something? Or like something bugs you about the recording? Or?
I don't know. It wasn't really me. Like, I really don't care. Like, I think mostly everything sounds good.
For some reason, it was feeling like it shouldn't
yeah,
be
well,
with the
actually,
others.
With Light Bulb, the chorus just kind of was lame. Super lame.
Do you still feel that way? If you listen to it, you know, after a couple years have gone by and you're not like...
Yeah, the chorus is still pretty lame. It has a cool A section. Funky. And with a cool, like, stop thing.
Yeah. I guess you could rework that into something and, you know, switch out the part that you didn't like.
And that always comes up into conversation, like, should we rework this? And then so we just like, no, let's just, like, write something new because we're better now.
That's exactly... Yeah, that's exactly what happens for me too. I'm always like, it's like more exciting to try and come up with something new.
Yeah. So Light Bulb with the first EP, and then Sweet Marie on Inner Peaks, which we were talking about songwriting. I wrote that one. I think either John or Jason helped out on the B section, but the opening harmonics on that was like the first thing I played when I got my new Modulus bass.
Oh, really?
In 2016. I was just like, oh my God, like this resonates so well. And like playing harmonics was like, it's lasting forever. And I just like started playing around the harmonics and like came a song.
That's a cool story. It's an inspired riff.
Yeah.
From the new gear.
New gear. And so the song that got cut on Gnomon is Carbon Copy.
My favorite delay pedal.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Which we haven't played recently, but we've definitely played it a handful of times live. But with that one, the recording just wasn't... So Sweet Marie got cut because it felt or sounded different than the rest of the songs.
Definitely did have a different feel, yeah.
Yeah, it's more of like a jammy hippie vibe thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a very joyous song. I feel like it's kind of like Dee Dee or something, kind of like that. That's like what it reminds me of, like that feeling a little bit.
Interesting.
Which I love that song too. That's like one of my favorites.
We still play that one a bunch.
Yeah, I remember at the New Year's that was a strong one, or it felt that way to me.
Yeah.
I was also playing tambourine on the side, which I'm like a little bit embarrassed about now.
Why?
Because I like thought I was like adding, like, oh yeah, tambourine always adds some energy, and they're like getting more energy now, but at the same time, like, just like in the corner, like playing tambourine, and
yeah, like no one could hear you.
I don't know. Tambourine's pretty loud. I saw Marina like look back, like, where's that coming from? I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad you were playing it. It was fun. I hope it didn't throw anybody off. That I was.
It didn't. I didn't even notice.
Like, I do it over there. Good, good. Because I saw John look back. I'm like, yeah, I'm part of the band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but that one was So we did a handful of songs with Aiden, who was our original member of the band,
At
New
the
Year's.
show you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And
played a long time with you guys.
Yeah, it was about an hour. And we just played like the old songs. It was probably like half and half, songs that we still play today and songs that we haven't played in years.
Yeah. So how did you like coordinate that?
We just sent him the songs that we were willing or that we wanted to play with him, and we just practiced them on our own. And we didn't, rehearse with him at all. But it all, it just came together.
Well, he seems like the kind of person that would be able to do that really well.
Yeah.
And just like, he seems really, really good at, I don't know, he plays with so many different people, it seems like.
Yeah. But he only plays keys with it. Like, he doesn't play keys in other projects.
That's true, yeah.
It's just bass.
Mostly bass.
But, it was kind of just like the old chemistry. It just, came back. It's like riding a bike.
That was cool. Was that fun to get to play with, like, how long has it been since you guys had done that?
There was a time we played Chicago when I just took a break and he came up and played bass for a couple songs. But him playing keys probably wasn't... It was probably like, I think it was August of 26... No, maybe it was 2015.
No, I remember him at a farm gym that I was at so it had to have been at least 2016.
Okay, then it was probably, it was 2016.
It's the Fly Like an Eagle year, which I love that song.
It's a great song. Great dad song. All the dads love it.
Yeah. Maybe that's, as I grow more into that, age bracket.
Yeah. Speaking of dads, one of the old songs we brought back to play with him was Dad Life.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Joe Marino loves that song, and he, before...
Dad Life.
I think before he even knew that Aiden was coming back for it, or was going to be there, he was like, yo, can you guys play Dad Life? Please, if this is the last show, please.
Yeah.
And we were like, actually, we were planning on it.
Yeah, that was good. I liked that. Was that on an album?
No.
Could be on the B-sides.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we already have a B-sides in the process of the 3 songs that didn't make it.
I think Sweet Marie should definitely be available to the public at some point. Because I really like that one.
Yeah, and I think it will. We could release it at some point. But back to... So we just went on a giant tangent. Back to the songs that were cut. Carbon Copy was cut because of the overdubbed guitar solos. Just... It sounded too different from... the either the rhythm or the during the actual composed part, the non-solo part.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was fitting into the song as a whole or something. Is that what you
It
mean?
just sounded too.
Or you mean mix wise, it was sticking out of the mix?
Mix wise, not necessarily sticking out, but I think it's just the tones were just so different.
Yeah, it was a little jarring or something.
Yeah, it was just, and that's something that I didn't pick up on or even, cared about.
Yeah.
But, for John and Jason, they, it was important to them. And they
if they're the player, one of them's the players, that's why I was, in the soundboard recording from Thunderbird, it's the same thing, the synth sticks out some... I don't know if you, listen to that at all, but at certain parts, the synth is just, so much louder than everything. And yeah. So for those, I've got the Carbon Copy syndrome there.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I mean, musically though, do you think that's an idea that you'd put out there? If it weren't for that thing, which you could potentially change.
Yeah, but
much.
it'd be hard to. I don't know how hard it'd be, but you'd have to the guitarists would have to try and match their tone to what it was before.
So it's not something that could be... It's it would be too drastic of a change would require somebody to actually replay the part.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it what kind of tone was it? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Like a saturation tone, or like some kind of like wah tone or something.
No, I think it was maybe more like hard, not distorted, but like fiercer.
Yeah.
But like that's, in my eyes right now, like that seems reasonable because guitarists will step on a pedal when they start to solo. So like that kind of seems like somewhat normal.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a nice sound sometimes.
Yeah.
I like it a lot of time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tone's a very personal thing, though.
Yeah.
You're more sensitive to your own tone. I feel like, or something that would bother me about a take or something that I did might not occur to somebody else.
Sure.
But yeah.
End of the day, you got to respect the musician and what they're doing and their thoughts on their work.
Yeah, for sure. When I was listening to the audio from the Clock Dinosaur show, and there's this one part where John steps on the ring modulator thing, and it's like this funky beat, and Steve's like playing like this cowbell.
The Moog
beat.
Like the
yeah. And John, like I've never heard anybody use a ring modulator that much, or like I don't know, he used it in a really cool way where when I would use like a ring modulator pedal, I'd be like, what am I like, how can I use this like musically? And he was using it as like, it was like a percussive like
a
it was
DJ
like
scratch.
Yeah, it was like a sound effect, like percussion rhythmic element there's like a 30-second stretch that I really liked out of that.
Definitely a percussive take on it.
Yeah, it's like not supposed to be like a melody or like a solo or something. It's just like like a pulsing thing, which was sweet. That was like the perfect thing for that.
Anytime he would ever whip that out during a show, we would all look over him and just be like, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like one of those pedals that would be real easy to abuse.
Yeah.
Like every time I get a pedal, I feel like I'm on that pedal a lot. Then it's like the new song. It's like the most fun.
Right.
But yeah, it was a very tasteful use of ring modulator.
Definitely.
Where did that come from? Oh, the tone.
From the different tones, carbon copy being cut.
Yeah. B-sides. Yeah, so I don't know, like the album comes at an interesting timing. It's like what do you think you'll do in 2020? Kind of musically.
Musically, I actually just bought a little interface. And I'd like to record, just for purposes of like, there's so many times in my room playing where it sounds really cool and then like it just goes away forever. It's gone.
I'm very excited about your decision to get into recording a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll just like, turn it on, do my playing, and if something cool happens, then I'll have it.
That's great. Yeah, it's so much fun. It's like, that's my favorite thing. It's just like capturing ideas and kind of trying to like flesh them out, and it's very fun. That's cool.
There's also like, there's some stuff I've written, maybe it's not like super long song, but songs I've written over the years that it'd be cool to, have down on paper, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to do that. And then have friends play things.
Mm-hmm.
I've even thought about, I have a drum set in my room, so like I could set up a couple mics and track drums over it. Or Steve.
That attic would be sweet. It's like I remember the drums were really fun to play up there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Or like Steve can come over and play drums, or Steve Light, who, is my roommate, lives in my house, can just play guitar, or I'll send it to my brother and he can play guitar, or send it to you. You could put guitar or keys over it.
Yeah, that's a can of worms worth opening there.
Yeah, so that's a goal in 2020 of mine. And I'd also just like to play around more.
You mean play around in what way?
With a couple different projects.
You mean like shows?
Yeah. So I was in a group with Kelsey Hillock singing, and Ryan Salisbury on guitar, and either Dan Leon on drums or Jason Washington on drums.
I don't know any of these people.
They're Dan and Ryan are more like jazz guys who I met through Jason.
Okay.
They had both like played with Jason. Like I met Dan at the Abbey because he was drumming for Jason, and I just seen Ryan around. He went to Pitt and through John and Jason.
So they're probably really good.
Yeah, they are. They're great musicians. And Kelsey's a really great singer, but she has seemed to maybe not lost interest, but like pursuing other things.
Yeah.
But SJ, Sarah Jane Kirkland from Shaq Nicholson, has expressed interest in being involved with other projects.
Yeah.
So she could sing, and we're trying to do this, for 2020, just like small little gigs around the city.
So what does that sound like, do you think?
So with Kelsey,
people?
It was kind of like a soulful, pop-y, funky type thing.
Yeah.
But, that can slightly change, With SJ, I think the song choices will be a little bit different. Maybe like less poppy, more like R&B, like some like Erykah Badu stuff.
Yeah, okay. So you were going to play, so this would be like covers? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it'd be mostly covers. Yeah.
Man, I'm terrible at covers. In terms of like, like I don't know any music. Like I didn't learn how to play music. Or like I just don't know any songs.
Well, I mean, you have to learn them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
and
I think it's really fun to like learn songs. One, it gives you a goal and some structure, and like, okay, I am going to learn this song.
Right.
So when I learn a song that I've never heard before, I'll listen to it on repeat for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Because, if your musicianship is at a certain level, if you know the song in your head, you can pretty much play it.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I try and just like know the song.
Yeah. Like know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And if you can hear it in your head, it really helps to, try and translate that through your
like
instrument.
Singing being able to like sing a melody or
Yeah.
something. Oh, that's, yeah.
And, it's not always perfect, but it helps.
Yeah. I think the couple times that I've recorded covers, which is different than learning to play it all the way through, but like recording covers was always interesting because you kind of get to like take a seat in like their brain and like how they put together a song and like what kind of chords they're using and stuff. That was always interesting. Like was it All I Want for Christmas Is You, the Mariah Carey song? When I was playing that, I was like, man, this song's like amazing. Like I appreciated that song a lot more.
Yeah. I feel like that happens a lot. Like, you just, even if it's a song like you don't like.
Yeah.
Like, All I Want for Christmas Is You.
You don't like that song?
I mean.
Have you listened to it like with an unbiased?
No, I haven't. It's just because, it's like every other band playing the Grateful Dead. It's like you've heard it so many times.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There was just like one time that I heard it. I think my alarm clock went off and like the song started. So I had like just woken up and like.
Is your alarm clock the radio?
Yeah.
Or do you wake up to Mariah Carey every day?
Every day since then, it's been Mariah Carey.
But you wake up to the radio.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's like... It's good because to turn my alarm off, I don't have to look at my phone, which sometimes can lead to me, like, checking email and just, like, finding random stuff to look at. But sometimes it goes off and then I just want to, like, listen. Then I just, like, lay down and listen to the radio.
Yeah.
So, I'd probably be better off with, like, a abrasive buzzer.
Man, fuck that, though.
Yeah, I know. I
do pick songs that I have on my phone to wake up to.
I was doing that for a while. So how frequently do you change them? Because I've like abused songs in that way, and now I'm like, every time I hear that song, I'm like, huh, it's time to wake up.
I don't know. Sometimes it's months.
Okay, so that doesn't...
Could be 2 months, could be 6 months.
Yeah. It is, yeah, it is pretty... It is much better, like... I don't know, songs definitely can make you feel a certain way just from hearing them. Like, certain songs, yeah, just make you feel good. Yes, that's...
But, I mean, I like waking up to something, like, easy.
Yeah, not like a... Ding, 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 ding.
Do you want to know what my 2 songs are right now? Because I set 2 alarms.
I'll tell you mine. Because sometimes I wake up to songs as well. And I don't feel like waking up to the advertising of the radio.
Right. So this first song is Death Cab for Cutie. It's called Brothers on a Hotel Bed.
Unexpected.
Yeah, so this, man, I was in high school. I think I was a sophomore. My sister was I was a freshman. Sister was a senior. She picked me up from my friend's house late at night. I was in a different mindset. And this song was playing, and, you know, I wasn't normally, like, a fan of the band. But, this was playing. And, it just really, it hit me in such a way. And that'll happen sometimes, you know, you don't like something, and then you hear it again, and the circumstances have changed.
Yeah, the settings definitely.
Settings change, and then you develop an appreciation for it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I was like a huge Death Cab for Cutie fan, so this song, definitely listened to this one a lot. This was when I was like a freshman in college, I think. This was when I was real into like songwriting and stuff.
Yeah, when the drums come in is when I remember like being in the car with my sister and being like, oh.
Yeah, I was thinking about that with like things that you read too, and like words that you hear, like some perspectives or advice that you might read or hear, depending on the circumstances, like might not resonate with you at all, but then if they reach you like at the right time, then it can kind of change your thinking.
Yeah.
Death Cab's, you know, I really like a lot of their songs, especially, well, up until like Plans or Narrow Stairs, but it's so like emotionally heavy, all of it.
Do you think lyrically or like the sounds that the instruments are making?
I think a lot of the sounds and melodies are like very melancholy, both, and then the lyrics they're not like necessarily like sad lyrics, but just like,
well, his voice is really soft.
Yeah. But like, yeah, lyrically deep in a way not always that I want to like put myself in. I feel like, because I'll listen to other music like Wolfpack or something, and the feeling that gives me is like preferable to the feeling that a more somber type of music like Radiohead gives me.
Yeah.
Like Radiohead,
somber.
I haven't really gotten into like a super, you know, I haven't really gotten into it that much. I like a lot of it, and I saw them live, which was completely different than what I would have expected. But yeah, like the it like puts me in a weird mood.
I never got super into Radiohead. I've definitely enjoyed a handful of their songs.
Yeah.
Even like a lot. I'm like, this is awesome.
Like My Iron Lung or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just a few for me. But like,
right.
I've never been like, I need to listen to more Radiohead. Like,
right, which a lot of people have that. They feel that connection so strongly.
Yeah.
There's probably other bands like that. Well, there's plenty of other bands like that. I still haven't gotten, like, super absorbed into, like, the Grateful Dead world, for instance. But that's also just because I haven't listened to enough yet.
Yeah.
There's so many bands like that, and so many, like, classic bands that is almost embarrassingly absent from my, like, what I've heard. I just like, haven't heard a lot of stuff.
Yeah, same with me. Like, some of the stuff that comes up in conversation with the band sometimes. They're like,
oh, really?
You haven't heard this? I was like, no. But, everyone has their own, where you are with music now stems from where you were at with music when you were 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see my music taste as like a linear line, and sometimes, it circles back and,
Well, yeah, you take little bits that you like that kind of like that stick out to you. I feel like you kind of just like store those things that you like about all these different types of music, and then that just comes out naturally as like a smoothie of all that stuff.
Smoothies.
Yeah, smoothies are good. I'm trying to think. My alarms are usually set. Back to this. Here's a guy the guys might know. Joe Pass.
Joe Pass.
You know Joe Pass? Yeah. Yeah, his live album Meditation. I'll wake up to that sometimes. Because I don't know. It's just like pretty gentle.
Yeah, it's pure.
And like his picture in the album cover just like looks like a jolly guy. So sometimes it's that, and sometimes it's like a Hawaiian lap steel.
Nice.
Just like waking up in SpongeBob land.
Yeah.
But now that song, like, it's a little bit messed up for me now. I still like it, but it changes something about the way I hear it. Same thing happened with Lettuce, Fly, that album. Actually, the first track, like, once those first notes sound, it's like triggering.
Like, you can't listen to it anymore.
No, I can listen to it. I can. It just like, when I hear those notes, like, triggers a feeling. But yeah, no, it's not ruined.
Yeah.
I still like the song. Also, I'm not waking up against my will usually, so I don't like grow to hate my alarm the way that some people might. When the alarm means getting out of bed to do something you don't want to do.
I've been there.
Yeah, I feel like every day for school, until I got to college, maybe even through college, was like I didn't want to go to school.
Yeah. My high school alarm, like in high school and before, my alarm was always like But that was before you could, you could set it to the radio, but now you can customize everything.
Yeah, I had one of those like dingy bell alarm clocks, which is extremely loud, but I was like an extremely deep sleeper that didn't want to get out of bed in the morning at that age, so I needed to like go for the loudest possible. I thought about making like my own wake up tracks that I would just play through my speakers. Maybe some kind of, I don't know.
I actually used that before.
Really?
One of the jams from me and my brother and a friend or two from home. We record, if we can, we'll record the jams like an hour or two long or whatever.
Yeah.
and I just set that as my alarm.
Oh, nice.
And I enjoyed it. I think since then I've had a new phone or something and don't have it on my phone anymore. But it was pleasant because it also brings back a memory. Like music is the perfect memory. Like every time you hear something, you associate it with something.
Yeah, for sure with music. Yeah, like any period of your life, if you hear a song that you were listening to a lot from that period, it's like very brings you back to that. Yeah, I mean, if you had a piece of music that always brought to mind a pleasant memory or something, yeah, that's pretty powerful and like reliable way to kind of wake up in a good place.
Yeah, like there's a song from a band called the Sim Redmond Band. A song called All's Not Lost, and it has a very like beachy vibe, but it's like it has some uns to it. But
Some
it's very
uns to it?
yeah. It's like
You mean like dance beat?
yeah, it's like a and but it's got like the island vibe, and I was in the Bahamas with like, you know, my 15 best friends from home over in like it's like New Year's Eve 2015. And
Oh, you went to the Bahamas with that big of a group?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was really cool. But I played the song in the car one day with like a few of the girls that I was with, and you know, they fell in love with the song. And then just a couple weeks ago, Ashley texted me. He was like, I'm listening to the song and like I'm remembering the Bahamas, and I love it. And like that's what it is. It just takes you back to where you were.
That's pretty cool, yeah. Yeah, man. That was one of my family vacations. I heard the song Tiki Nights about a million times. I don't know if you ever heard that. Tiki 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 nights.
I don't think so.
It's also very unts. I really like it, but that song is forever now. It's just like carved into my memory as that trip. I feel like, yeah, that kind of happens. That happens a lot. That's cool.
Yeah.
If I had an alarm, if I could like create an alarm that would make me laugh a lot when I heard it, like something that I thought was really funny, that could be good too.
Speaking of laughing, have you heard of the band Dynamite Hack?
Sounds familiar, but explain like what.
I know nothing about them.
Dynamite Hack. That sounds really familiar, but I can't bring to mind anything specific.
They have a song. I don't know if it's on Spotify here, but in high school, they have a song called "Laughing." I don't think it's on here. But all it is like people. It's like one person laughing, and then another person laughing, and then another person, and like then they all start laughing. You can't help yourself but laugh by the end of it.
Really?
Like by the end of it, you're cracking up.
Wow.
Maybe you need to be stoned, but it generally just makes you laugh, and that's all the song is.
Check that out. I feel like right now for me, the track that would make me do that I know of is Robot Land of Farts. Did I play that for you?
I don't know.
It's like we're making fart sounds on a synthesizer.
I remember doing that.
They can become very realistic but also like sound like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. We'll release that someday.
My friend's older brother, when I was in high school, he was making, you know, electronic music, weird stuff. One of the songs was Fart Salad. And those might have been the only lyrics.
Those are your lyrics?
I forget.
Fart salad.
Fart salad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I got here on my short list of stuff. Cool. Oh, you're so close.
Oh, there it is.
If you want another one, there's one in the portable fridge, the koozie.
Nice.
It's a little trick there. If you don't have a fridge.
Wow. Neat idea.
Yeah. Where do scary drawing. What's like the basis of the Clock Reads has a lot of good, strong Latin vibes in their music that I really like. I mean, that's what I think there are Latin vibes. Like I don't know, what are they? What is that sound?
Definitely Latin vibes, and I love it.
Like where did that come from?
I'm gonna have to say it's mostly on Steve. Because a lot of times we'll be in a jam, and like when it's time to change the feel or change the vibe of the jam,
Yeah.
you'll just like fall into something. Like we all know that like after this bar, like we're gonna do something different. Like
Right,
subconsciously
yeah.
we just know.
Right. It's building to that.
And a
point.
lot of the times sometimes, well, because it's easy, if I'm doing like a do-da-ding, like, the Latin vibes. And I know Steve loves that kind of percussive beat. And I think, I'm not sure if he's the one who kind of like started with all of us, but, because like El Gato del Fuego has Latin vibes. That was like the first song ever written by the Clock Reads.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that song.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, the beat definitely like sets the tone.
Yeah.
See, it would.
And it's fairly simple for me to change what I'm playing to fit that. And I think it's like a comfort zone. It's something we all just feel comfortable doing, and then like something can build off of that. But like it's a good basis starting point for
it's a great sound.
anything,
it's like a good feeling sound.
Yeah.
It's like for some reason it reminds me of the beach, even though I guess there's a lot of beaches and areas where music might sound like that, but I've always liked that part. And I also feel like I never really hear that anywhere. Yeah, I don't. Nobody, at least in...
Not in jam music much.
Not in jam, yeah, not in jam. Maybe in jazz, probably jazz or something, I don't know.
Like I could see like, Fish or maybe the String Cheese like going into that sort of feel. Something.
Yeah,
like Fish
it's
definitely
still
does
different
have
though. Like the way, I feel like Mo sometimes feels like that a little bit. At least beats kind of like that, but I still feel like it's a good bit different when you guys do it.
Well, thanks.
Extra Latin.
Yeah, I mean, it just has this like cool like worldly vibe that like you're saying like you don't hear in other places, and it's refreshing. It's just like it's nice to hear something different.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like it transfers into other like funk vibes or something like pretty naturally.
Yeah, it's a good fuser.
I don't know.
Because we love to fuse genres. And, how to bridge from one to the next. Sometimes we have no idea what that's going to sound like.
Yeah.
But, maybe it's that Latin feel that'll bridge us from one to the next.
Yeah, how did you guys start playing together, like, and like how does the live show, like how do you guys like work on that stuff, like your transitions and like improvised sections and kind of like because the new album's very, it's all very,
it's not very
concisely
jammy.
composed.
Yeah.
And like there's some solos and stuff, but like it's very concise. But the live shows, one of those songs could go on and I'll forget that it's even the same song because it goes into another completely different thing. Then then it comes back. And like, how do you guys do like work on that stuff?
So I guess there's stuff that's planned and there's stuff that's not planned. And stuff that's not planned is always like way more fun and sometimes a little more natural.
Just interesting.
It's like we're already playing this other thing, or it's like, oh, we could easily go into this, and then like, that's where communication comes in, and it's like that communication is so important. But also sometimes you like don't even need to look at your band member because
you hear what they're playing. Kind of what they're hinting at.
Yeah, that happened at. I forget if it happened at New Year's, but it happens often. Of just like,
I captured a video of you guys doing a lot of face looking at each other because you guys were gonna do something and something was about to happen.
That could have been during the test. We had talked about maybe going into the verse and chorus of Vaseline by the Stone Temple Pilots.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things where it was like, all right, we'll see where we are and decide then if we want to do it or not.
Yeah.
Or like maybe we'll just tease it a little bit, but like John isn't sure if he's going to sing it or not. So I remember like jamming on that one section.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And I looked up John, I was like, you going to sing? And he was like, yeah. And then like some time passed and like nothing happened. I was like, are you going to sing? Like, did I hear you right? Like, are you going to sing? And he was like, yeah. And then like eventually Steve got the word and then he started singing it. But that was something that like we didn't know if we were going to do that or not.
Yeah. Is that something that you played before in practice? Like you jam on it or?
We played it at one show at Cativo a couple years ago.
Is that in Lawrence? Is that in the Strip? Wait,
Lawrenceville, 44th Street.
Oh yeah, that's like the basement.
Yeah, that's where they would have a bunch of shows when the T-Bird wasn't open. So we played it there, never played it again. And then like a couple days before New Year's when we were rehearsing, we just like kind of like went over it.
Yeah.
And it was just like one of the things like, oh, if we're feeling it, we'll do it. There's a lot of that. It's like
kind of game time.
Yeah.
Call.
But as for being a band for a handful of years, it's you have to pay attention. You can't just like get zoned out on your instrument. You can during some certain parts, but like you got to remember to like look up.
Yeah, I know. It's hard. It's hard for me to do that. Get out of my own world and pay attention to.
Yeah, and that's something super hard that I don't really have to do because I don't take solos a lot, but to cue when someone's soloing and they're cueing you out of their solo.
Right, yeah, like I'm done now.
Yeah, like but you have to look up during your solo, before you're done, and let people know that this is it. This is the last time I'm going to solo.
Right, yeah.
And so when I did take solos, I would look up right at the end of my solo.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, just...
But that's something hard that
But
takes...
if everybody's not like paying close attention to you, they might not.
Yeah, then there's been a handful of times where John or Jason will look at me and this is the last time I'm going to solo over the section, but like Steve's still deep in whatever he's doing. So they end up just
sees the signal.
Yeah, so they end up just soloing again. And sometimes like that sucks if like you feel like you were that was a perfect way to end your solo, but now you're like forced to like do more and it may not be like the best
maybe
like
unexpectedly,
last time.
yeah, like you've ended on a phrase.
Yeah.
And then you got to open it back up. Yeah, that yeah, I feel like at least with the guys that I play with, Nick and Andrew and John, we're getting pretty good, I feel like, at hearing the audio cues, I guess. Like whenever John is soloing, I can pretty much hear based upon what he's doing if it's the end or not. Just like I guess just from getting to know like how he plays and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like you mentioned earlier about a lot of times being able to kind of like subconsciously know when something's going to change. That's like I guess that's kind of the only way that eye contact is literally like the only communication that we have. Like we have a signal and that is just like look at each other like, all right, it's happening now.
Yeah.
Like whatever's going to happen is happening now.
Well, there's a lot of times when you look at someone while you're playing and you don't know like which way it's like, yeah, or like, no, but like, yeah. There's no head shaking,
like, no,
but it's
I'm
like,
just jamming.
And then you end up just like,
right. Yeah. Trying to make the cues.
Yeah.
More, like obvious. Also, like, how do you guys communicate if you're doing like an improvised section in your show? You build that into a song. I mean, based on from what I've played with you, you will build that into a section of a song, and then you'll come back to the song, and that
for like a type 2 jam.
Yeah, just like up for like there's this jam window here, and then eventually we're gonna get back to this.
Yeah. So most of the time for a song, we know it's gonna go type 2, and we know that it's gonna
type 2.
Type 2. So like type 1 and type 2 jams.
Diabetes? No, what do you mean?
So type 1 is like basically just soloing over a chord progression.
Okay.
And maybe that chord progression changes a little bit.
Right, but it's like part of a song, like solid chord progression.
Yeah. But it's still like a jam.
Yeah.
But then there's type 2 where like you leave that chord progression, you start something new.
Right, you just go and completely untested stuff.
So we generally know which songs are going to go type 2. But, every one in 8, 1 in 10, it's like, oh, that song wasn't planned on going type 2, but it did.
Yeah.
But so for the ones that we like generally know are going to go type 2, like we know to come back to it unless another song starts coming in naturally.
Oh yeah, somebody starts hinting at a melody from another song or something.
So like, if that
Is that
happens,
how that happens? Like someone will like tease a melody from a different song or like a bass line or something.
Oh yeah.
And that's like how everybody will know, like, all right, we're going to this song.
And most of the times we'll just end up going to that song and not coming back to that first song.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do. Or sometimes we just tease that song.
Have you ever gotten into a song and then a type 2 jam into another song that you weren't planning on, and then into another type 2 jam and then back to the original song? Like some kind of crazy
Yeah, that's happened for sure.
You end up just getting back to it somehow.
Yeah. Or it's like we know we'll look at each other to go back to that first song.
What's the signal for that?
We'll just yell it out.
Okay.
And there were times when I was like, do we want that as part of our performance where people can tell that like we're being like, oh, do this, do that. But then I came to realize that like that's cool to see. Like when I go see live music, like I want to see the band communicating with each other.
Right, yeah.
Like I think that's cool. So
I do too.
So maybe at first that would bother me. But like I quickly like got over that.
Because maybe it seems like not as
like you're not prepared or rehearsed or
yeah. I mean I think there's No, I think that's definitely cool because then people that see that I feel like more connected to what's happening because they maybe feel like more on the same page, like seeing a band communicate and then hearing what they're doing. Kind of. Yeah, it gives more of a feeling of things being like spontaneous.
Yeah, and that's honestly like my favorite times playing as a band is the shit that wasn't planned. Like that's like the most fun I've had is when like something just comes out of nowhere or like
yeah. And what like yeah. So how do you guys decide how much of that to put in to like figure into a set, like a set of an hour or an hour and a half or something?
So prior to like a year and a half, 2 years ago, it would be like whatever. Like we'll start playing and like that first song will go on for 20 minutes.
Okay, so it was super
very lax at first.
Very exploratory.
Yeah. But then a lot of those jams just end up being like one chord jams where it gets like
it can get stale.
Boring, stale. Yeah. It's like
then how do you get out of that?
Yeah. So we decided a year and a half, 2 years ago, like, let's just try to have like a couple of those times, even just like as little as one type of jam like that, a set, if we're playing an hour.
Yeah.
Then that's reasonable. And that way nothing gets stale.
Right. You have something solid to kind of come back to.
But then some other times there'll be 3 or 4 of those. And if it's natural, then it works out.
Right.
But, if it's just like a forced, okay, this one's going to jam and like we don't really know what's going to happen.
Right.
So let's just keep strumming, go through the motions.
Right. Yeah.
We wanted to like minimize that.
Right. Yeah, that's the tough part because, I mean, I've had the same experience where, like the spur of the moment, unplanned stuff is super fun and it's really... it's just like really fun, and some of my favorite musical ideas have come out of that. But at the same time, for every so much of that, it takes a lot of other stuff sometimes to like get to those places, and like yeah, it's hard to capture that spontaneous, like, getting into, like, a cool new idea that everybody's kind of building together.
Yeah.
In, like, in a way that, yeah, you're not, like, going on for too long. Because when you're in that zone, 20 minutes will feel like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you won't realize that you've been jamming on the same groove for so long. If it's something that you're, like, really into, like, yeah.
Yeah, and these decisions, whether or not to do these things, are based around set time, set length.
Yeah.
Are we playing an hour, or are we playing 2 sets? Because if we're playing 2 sets, like, that takes the pressure off, like, trying to have a sweet, spontaneous jam within a certain time frame.
Yeah.
And if you take that away, then things come more naturally, and they end up usually working out rather than just, shit, like, it's already been 10 minutes and, like, we haven't had, like, a sick jam yet.
Yeah.
So that kind of, like, goes away when you have more time to play.
Right.
So
you guys like to start out with that, or do you like to, like, do some songs and then kind of work jams in the middle and then, like, end with, like, some succinct stuff?
it all depends. Like, if we're unsure about how it sounds on stage, like, mix-wise, then, like,
Oh, yeah.
then we might need to jam a little bit to, like, settle in.
Right.
But
yeah.
also, we don't want to blow our load on the first song.
Yeah. You guys are very good at not blowing your load, I feel like. In terms of... What, you disagree?
So, I don't know. Sometimes, yeah.
I feel like you guys are always very controlled.
Sometimes we are. Sometimes we're not.
What does that even mean for you guys? Like releasing too much energy in the beginning and, like, things getting too loud and, like wound up or something?
I don't know. I think it could also, it depends how much time we have. Like, is the peak of the set with the most people in front of us going to be in the middle? If so, like, let's definitely not blow the load on the first song.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're coming out, say you're headlining a show and, like, the crowd's there. So, like, you step on stage and, like, there's people in front of you. Then I think it's like, sure, go start with a bang.
Yeah.
And then bring it down and, like, come back up again. But it just really depends on a case-by-case basis of where we are.
Right, like, if there's nobody there, like, you don't want to do that at the beginning.
Yeah, but if no one's there and, like, like, no one else is coming...
Well, then you
those sometimes end up being the best shows, because, like, we don't give a fuck and, like, we just do whatever we want to do, and it ends up being pretty cool most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pressure.
Pressure and expectations are definitely a huge factor in my playing. Like, just comfort level, it really affects how well I can play. It's pretty crazy, I feel like, sometimes.
Yeah, it's
how
like,
good I'll feel sometimes and how bad I'll feel other times based on how comfortable I am.
Yeah, I kind of see comfort as, like, a shield of armor. And, like, if you have all this armor on, it's hard to move around. But if you take that off, like, you're free to just go with things. And, like, a lot of times that works better.
Yeah, if you can, just let go of, just kind of get out of your head a bit. Or at least for me.
Yeah, definitely.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Word.
What's your... If you have to go at any time, now or whenever, no worries, just...
Yeah, actually I probably do, because I'm making bread.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of bread?
Sourdough.
Sourdough. Nice. One of my favorite breads. Okay, in that case, I'll hold this for another 30 seconds to
Okay.
bid you adieu.
Yeah, is there anything left on your topics that you wanted to cover?
We pretty much got... No, those were just, like, in case, like, we didn't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so, new album. Gnomon. The ancient sundial album from The Clock Reads. It's available on the Bandcamp. Pseudo Dudo. was really happy to meet that guy. He's really great at what he does. And yeah, I never know how to end these. So Michael Berger, the clock reads.
Let's end it with a hearty God bless.
Okay. Hearty God bless. God bless.
God bless.
This Sardo is blessed. Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah. No, it's still going.
Oh shit.
Okay, now it's over.
All right.
Okay, no, it's still
Nah.